You ain't nothing but you ain't nothing but a hound dog. Well, you ain't never gonna learn to you ain't no real.
Well, you can't miss him. I mean, that's Elvis Presley, of course, performing on the Ed Sullivan Show back in 1956. It was October. Presley was born on January 8th, 1935, nearly 90 years ago. And if you're still all shook up about the king of rock and roll, you don't want to miss this weekend's Elvis Fever event happening in LeClaire. Wayne Wally is from the popular shop along Cody Road called Aunt Hattie's, and he's back with us today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me on, Morgan.
Absolutely. Kind of a little bit different of a topic here today because Aunt Hattie's is actually hosting this really cool one-day only marketplace event. It's not at Aunt Hattie's, the store,
Correct.
because you have so much
It's
stuff.
in the same building, and so we had an area at 110 South Cody Road
Wonderful.
where we could put all this on display where people can actually see it and enjoy it.
See it and enjoy it. Okay, so tell us a little bit about where this idea came from for an Elvis Fever event.
Well, this is a little bit of a bittersweet moment for me to do this because it's something I've thought about doing. But my mother, she was a huge Elvis Presley fan, went to concerts in Lake Tahoe all the time in the 1970s. She'd go for 3 days, see 2 shows a night, tip the maitre d'. She was in the front row. She'd get scarves. She'd come back with all these fun programs. I mean, we've got one of her concert tickets here from when it was at the Sierra Tahoe.
That is amazing. Viola. Okay,
Viola
so
Wally.
her name is Viola. You call her Vi. I heard your wife calling her Vi. Really incredible what she has been able to see.
And it's like this is, again, the program you get with a whole menu of what you were going to get when you went to see Elvis in concert. But he would do 2 shows a night, and like I say, she would tip the maitre d' and be up there right in the front row.
If only we could still really get away with that. Wouldn't that, you'd really have to tip a lot these days. Yeah, that's really incredible. So that's kind of how you amassed most of the Elvis memorabilia and beyond memorabilia, just really cool stuff that your mom was able to collect over the years.
Exactly. She collected. We would always be buying her different gifts and all that. And even after we've moved to different places, I've lived in New York, lived in the Chicago area, whenever I'd see something that had to do with Elvis, I'd go see it. I had the honor of when I was reporting for an Australian magazine of going to Graceland when it first opened in 1982 and got to have a tour of Graceland with Priscilla Presley.
Amazing.
Took a bunch of pictures, sent them all to my mom. She was thrilled to death. I was trying to talk her into going there, but she would not get on an airplane. Not even for going to Graceland.
That's where the buck stops, apparently. I mean, because she traveled all over to see Elvis Presley. And you were just telling me a story about how she did try and get in the front row. Before we did this segment, you were telling me this story, and that he would hand out and toss scarves into the audience.
If you ever see some of the concert footage of Elvis in concert, you'll see somebody sort of following him and giving him scarves that he'd wrap around his neck, and then he would hand it out to all the people in the front row. So I know my mom had several of these. She gave them to certain friends and certain Elvis fans that she knew. A few of them went to other relatives of mine after she passed, and I still have 2 of them.
That is so
cool. 2 of them you might be able to see them on Saturday. I'm not necessarily ready to sell those yet. A little bit of sentimental value.
Absolutely.
But a lot of these other things, I think it's time for other people to have the chance to enjoy them.
Yeah, and I agree. And you know what? Some of these items as well, they're like untouched. So it's not like, you know, these larger boxes of this memorabilia, these really cool things that were sold. I mean, the boxes, when you open them, it's like a brand new item. I mean, she didn't take that stuff out.
She did not ever use the Elvis phone, but it was in the box. Knew she had to have one. Same with the cookie jar. It's been kind of cool stuff. And some of the things I found as I went through this, it's like this thing where it was decide which Elvis is King stamp was going to be done.
Yeah,
which was kind of wild. And there was even a postcard for people to send in where you got to choose which one you wanted, and obviously this is the one that people chose, and that's the winner. So I have a lot of these things again on display, and some of this will be for sale on Saturday from 10 to 4.
Yeah, people were able to vote on this stuff. Really amazing. And there's one other thing that I want to hold up as well, so bear with me. I'm going to keep the stamps here, but I want I want to hold this one up as well. So tell everybody what this one is here.
This one says it's Elvis's sweat. I doubt it really is, but it's one of those funny things that we found, and of course my mom got a big kick out of that when that was one of her birthday gifts one year. But again, rummaging through everything that I had in all these boxes that hasn't seen the light of day for 10 or 20 years, I found this and brought a good smile to my face.
Well, there it is, folks. I mean, Elvis's sweat in a little vial, and this has never been opened. So, I mean, even if it's not real, what a cool piece of memorabilia to have.
It really is.
You know, as people, you know, you hope that they don't ever start to forget, you know, what a big moment in time this was. And I think this was way before my time. I mean, that video that we showed in 1956 was 2 months before my mother was even born.
Oh my gosh.
But like, I know so much about Elvis Presley, and you just kind of hope that people don't lose that part of our history.
Well, the other thing I found throughout obviously I have a lot of albums. My mom probably bought every album that ever came out. I know there's 200, 300, 400, I don't know how many, because there's all these compilations that came out after he passed away with his gold records and all that. But gosh, Elvis was in about 30 movies, so there's 30 different soundtracks. There's all these different concert albums, a whole wide variety of things. I know I've got more than 200 that'll be out there on Saturday for people to look at. Some of them rare, some of them not so rare. Christmas albums, I've got several copies of each one, and that was his most biggest selling album ever, was one of the Christmas albums.
Yeah, very popular.
So it's some fun stuff that people will be able to go through. And plus, Elvis was also in so many magazines, and my mom had all sorts of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I was surprised to find it. I mean, one of these I have here is Hollywood Rebels, and I believe the cover price was 25 cents. So you know that was a long time ago.
And they're just in really great condition. Really, really cool stuff that people are going to be able to come and check out. There's going to be snacks that you're serving as well, a barbecue, samples of barbecue pizza, an Elvis favorite, and the Elvis sandwich, peanut butter, banana, and crispy bacon.
Yes, exactly.
I have had peanut butter and bacon before. I will say it's not bad at all. And I can only imagine that people will come near and far to come and see these items. It's going to be a really incredible.
Yeah, I love to have the chance, like I say, to have this on display, have a good memory of my mom and her stuff, and hopefully people can come out and enjoy it. And if you find a treasure you need to have, we'll be ready to sell.
That's great. Well, here's all the info for everybody on your screen. It is happening this Saturday, just a couple of days, January 4th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It is hosted again by Aunt Hattie's, but the location is just down the road at Pickers Paradise Indoor Flea Market. There's going to be so much on display, well beyond what you've even been able to see on the show today. Wayne, as always, thank you so much for bringing all of this in.
Thank you, Morgan.
Really wonderful.
It's been fun, and like I say, I'm looking forward to Saturday, so please come on out and visit us.
Absolutely.